This is the Technician Commitment Podcast.
A podcast sharing stories, ideas and opportunities from the Technician Commitment community.
Driving change together.
I'm Charli Corcoran, Lead Animal Care Technician at the Institute of Aquaculture at the University of Stirling.
My name is Michael Bayliss. I am the Senior IT and AV Technician within the School of Histories, Languages and Cultures at the University of Liverpool.
This podcast is created by the sector for the sector.
Welcome to today's episode. We're exploring the cross-institutional mentoring scheme for technicians, CIMS-T, a mentoring initiative created by technicians for technicians. Now, in its third year, the programme offers a unique opportunity for technicians to receive mentoring from someone who truly understands their role, whilst also giving experienced professionals the chance to support and develop others in the community.
In this episode, we're joined by the three organising members behind the scheme. We'll be talking about what mentoring really means, why the programme was created, what technicians can expect if they take part as mentors or mentees, and the impact that it's already having across our sector. And we'll also cover how you can get involved if you're interested in applying.
Welcome to our guests, Thea, Trevor and Lisa. Can we start by asking you to introduce yourselves and your role and your institution, and then we'll jump into questions. Lisa, I'll start with you first.
Hi, my name's Lisa Bedder and I work at the University of Leicester. I work as a lead teaching technician and I'm currently supporting students within the College of Life Sciences.
Thea, now you please.
Hi, my name's Thea Mangels. I work at the University of Warwick. When we started the scheme, I was a technical services manager in chemistry, and I have since transitioned into the program team for the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Medicine, and I'm working as the technical services lead on a huge building program.
And finally, but last but not least, Trevor.
Hi, I'm Trevor Hardy. I'm the Senior Laboratory Technician for the School of Chemistry at Birmingham University.
Amazing. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. So, Thea, then, for the benefit of listeners who might be hearing about it for the first time, what is the cross-institution mentoring scheme for technicians?
Yeah, Mike's already stolen some of my thunder. So he's, as he mentioned, it's a technician-led initiative where it's run by technicians and it's for technicians. It's a national cross-institutional scheme, and we are on our third cohort. We've so far helped about 60, more than that, 60 mentoring pairings. And the idea is that we cast our net wider for finding support for technicians to benefit from the experience of people who have are either more senior or have more experience in the subject area that they're looking for. So that allows people to speak more openly and get new perspectives. And it really benefits both sides because mentees get the advice, perspective and confidence that they're looking for, and our mentors tell us that they're developing leadership skills and confidence.
It's great. And it's very unique as well because you're getting advice as the mentee from somebody who understands the technical roles that you're doing. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to be part of these mentoring schemes and you're being mentored by someone who just hasn't got any experience in the role that you've got.
Exactly. We find that our mentors really understand the realities of the technical roles, and they just tend to be very different from academic or admin career structures.
It's a win-win, really, isn't it? It literally is a win-win.
It is. Yeah, it is. And on top of everything else, we found that it seems to have a benefit that we really didn't set out to create actively. It's a community building tool, as in we find that quite a lot of the mentoring pairs stay in contact and have somebody to fall back on, even if it's with questions that don't strictly have anything to do with their mentoring goals.
Yeah, well, I think from mine and Charlie's perspective, I think the same. We help each other out constantly with podcasting and audio recordings, and we throw questions at each other. And then there's on the other side of our conversation where we just talk about our children or the day we're having or things breaking. So I think we don't mentor, but we have somewhat mentored, and we haven't even thought about it. I think it just comes to sometimes a second nature with people working within the same industry. Going on to what is mentoring, Trevor, I'm going to throw that to you. What is mentoring, and can you tell us in one sentence how it helps your career? I know it might be a tricky one sentence; it's quite hard to sort of fulfill.
So mentoring allows a more experienced mentor to share their knowledge, their skills, information, advice, perspective with a less experienced mentee. The reason why it works so well is because it's personalized to the needs of the mentee. So the mentees that contact us, they request mentoring in a very particular area, whether that's where they're going in their career or they need to learn a particular technique. And we find mentors that have the skills, the knowledge, the experience to be able to guide them and instruct them in that specific skill, career path, whatever they're looking for.
That's great. Thank you. And so why the cross-institutional mentoring scheme? Why was that set up? What was the goal there?
It came out of group work from a collaborative leadership course that the three of us were on. And quite a few people have, a lot of institutions have their own mentoring schemes internally. But for a technician, you're not guaranteed to be put with somebody who's technical. And even if you are, they're very, it's very unlikely that they will have the skills and experience that you require for your mentoring. We technicians are very specialised in what we do, and universities do not have 2 or 3 technicians all with the same specialism. There's just not the money at universities to do that. So we had the idea that actually you go to another institution, there is, in my case, there will be a senior laboratory technician at Warwick, there will be one at Leicester, Nottingham, and you widen out that search across every institution in the UK, you will find those mentors who have the skills and the experience and the knowledge to be able to give the specialist mentoring that your technicians require. Trying to do just within a single institution, it just doesn't work because the skills and knowledge isn't there.
I think it's a great idea. It's difficult to make those connections yourself. So having something like your scheme behind you to help you make those connections is brilliant.
It's amazing. Like I 100% agreed with what Charlie said, because things I never knew about it, and this sounds really daft from the host. I've never heard about the scheme at all, and it opens up your eyes to larger networking, to more technicians to actually talk to other technicians, and to get that drive to be like, actually, well, they're doing this person at Warwick, Nottingham, Leicester, Stirling. The people are doing this role that's similar to mine or the same as mine, and I can learn from them, or I can take some experiences from them. I just think it sounds so fantastic and such an insight. I really want to look more into it and do more with it. But what can technicians expect when they participate in the program as mentors and mentees? And I'm aiming this one at Lisa, because she's been a bit quiet in the background. So, Lisa, what can we expect from our participants?
So what we can expect, hopefully a very flexible and supportive scheme that can fit around technicians' working lives and their personal lives, because technicians are so busy doing a variety of tasks. We have really dynamic roles. We have to drop everything at the last minute to go fight fires. Sometimes real, sometimes not. But they can be busy working lives, and we need to have a pairing who understands that. So most mentoring pairs, they meet online just because of the nature of having people up and down the country. So they mostly meet for an hour every 4 to 6 weeks, and the relationships run for around 6 months. But as Thea said earlier, many of the pairings do stay in touch much longer after the mentoring journeys end, which we find out when we do our evaluations, which is really lovely. We find that they're still meeting up and they've become part of their network. So they're contacting them for reasons beyond their original mentoring journeys, and they're just becoming somebody they talk to for advice, which is lovely. So at the moment, our applications are open, which is a really exciting time for us. So we have a weekly meeting every 2 weeks, and we'll talk about when the results are coming in, about how many applications we've got, and it's quite exciting for us at the moment. And then once the window closes, Fiona Paul, who's part of the ITSS, and she runs the administration side for us, she'll bring all the information together for us, and then Thea, Trevor, and I will spend some time individually and we'll read through all the applications. And we'll start by making any kind of straightforward matches in the weeks leading up to matching day. So matching day is a really exciting day for us. We're already talking about it now. And we rotate it between our institutions of where we host it, because we come together for this day and we don't meet up too much throughout the year, even though we're not geographically that dissimilar. Trevor's at Birmingham and Thea's at Warwick, but we do meet up once or twice a year, and we always meet up for matching day. So last year we met up at Birmingham, and if you imagine, we kind of sat around this big conference style table, eating our curry lunch, which is a must. And then we've got like loads of paperwork. We've printed off all the matchings, and we're working through the lists, and we confirm every pairing together. And it's something we always wanted to do, was to have this personalized approach where the technicians, the three of us, were matching all the mentors and the mentees together. So we'll look through the matches, and then the trickier matches, especially where the technicians are from more niche roles. We'll spend a bit more time working through this. And then for these technicians, we could also, if we don't have somebody from our pool who's applied, we could draw upon our own networks to see if we can find a suitable person. Or if we still need more support than that, we can reach out online for our wider technician support networks, and also through the ITSS has channels as well that we can put profiles out and try and get those last few matched. The last year we also had a mentor and mentees dedicated Teams channel, which is quite nice, because we wanted them to have, especially the mentees, we wanted them to have a network as well that they could access into, because the mentors already have quite a few channels that they can meet people from. They go to conferences, but some of the mentees, they may not have that network of technicians beyond their institution. So we also found that the mentees, as Thea said, some of our mentees are coming on to be mentors in future cohorts, which is lovely. So we're actually retaining people. They're starting as mentees, and then they're coming back, and they've got the confidence and the skills, and they're actually mentoring in future cohorts, which is lovely. So we're really getting to know some of these people. We'll bump into them at conferences, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was about to ask, do mentees become mentors? And obviously the geographical between you three is not actually that far, is it? Warwick, Leicester, Birmingham. I'm from the Midlands myself, Leamington Spa, so the geographical is not actually that far. So it's not like travelling to Stirling, is it, Charlie?
No, not quite.
Mentoring scheme now for around 3 years, the third year this year. Has has the numbers increased per year? Have they sort of stayed steady? Roughly how many numbers do you think how many people apply per year?
I think for the first year we had about. Actually, I'm not actually sure on this one because I was on maternity for the first cohort. Can I pass this over to one of the others?
Of course you can, yeah.
I seem to remember we had about 24 pairings in the first year, and then we practically doubled that for the second intake. And we're on the recruitment for the next intake, so that's only just started. Apparently, we're at about just shy of 10 applications on the mentees so far, but I think we're only a week in, and we're running. Somebody correct me, until May.
That's what
I think it's the 19th of May. Or one of my colleagues will remind everyone at the end of the podcast. So we've seen a doubling in size from the pilot cohort to the second intake, and the jury is out for this year. We're hoping that we'll sort of can steady this at just shy of 50 applications, because we take great care in doing that human matching, and I reckon that at some point that becomes unwieldy if we get too many applications.
You'd have to have two matching days, two curry lunches.
Totally could.
When it comes to the mentoring stage, are you three on the panel from the mentoring stage? Do you put your names in the hat for mentoring?
I have mentored in the first cohort, didn't have anyone last year because I changed roles and found it quite stressful at work. I needed a breather, but I'm going to put my name in the ring again for this year's cohort.
What about you, Lisa?
I think I'll probably stay on reserve, and if I see someone that I think could work, then yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What about you, Trevor? Is your name in the hat this year?
I think I probably will put my name in the hat this year. Like Thea, I was covering a different role last year, so I didn't have the capacity to take on any mentoring, but I think I may well put my hat in this year.
Trevor also volunteers half of his teammates. He's always volunteering somebody from the floor above or below him. It's like, I know Mike. He's on the floor above me. He could totally do this one.
That's what technicians do, though. You pull a few strings, and you're like, oh, you know what, I volunteer for this now. You just push them a little bit. But that's unfortunately, and that's the world we're in. Some technicians do just need that little bit of a push. I am doing the pushing gesture to our audience who can't see us. They just need a little push in the right direction to hopefully progress their career or support someone whose career is needing a little nudge in the right direction. Has there been any career-defining moments for people who have been on the mentoring scheme? And this one, Thea, I'm going to throw this one to you.
I would say there have. We do a routine check-in after the mentoring's finished with all our pairings, and we ask them to say how useful it's been or not. Thankfully, the overwhelming majority of respondents found it really useful, and we've got case studies that show that, for example, someone's said, I've got a promotion out of the conversations. So I gained the confidence and also the tools to write a really compelling application. And I'm convinced that the mentoring helped. Obviously, mentoring alone will have got someone a promotion, but it's one of the jigsaw puzzle pieces, isn't it? And somebody else came back and said, my mentor helped me to write a business case to my own institution to apply for funding to put into strategic work for our technician commitment action plan, which I found really lovely because it shows that there is a sector relevance to the mentoring. It's not just that we are helping technicians not feel so isolated and solve their problems, but it's also something that's self-perpetuating. It strengthens the technical profession in higher education by actually feeding back into the technician commitment. So we're strengthening leadership across the sector. And on last year's cohort, we had somebody who needed scientific glassblowing skills. And she said afterwards, I would never have thought that you would be able to help me with this. But she got matched with a scientific glassblower, as it happens, at Warwick. And they've now applied for funding so she can come visit and actually learn for a few days in practice. So I would say this has got tangible implications for people's work life.
That's incredible.
It's really, really positive to see.
So do applicants need to have a specific thing they want mentored in when they apply, or are they just kind of looking for a bit of general support? Or
I think you have to know what you want, because otherwise we find it really hard to match you with somebody. And we find that the more specific the application is, even if somebody says, I'm not entirely sure what I need, but this is my problem, we can often make something of that. Whereas if somebody says, yeah, I can't actually think of any of the more vague applications, but the more you tell us in succinct terms, obviously it needs to be readable and quickly as such. Think of us having to read through 50, 60 applications, but the more compelling you can make your case of what you're after and potentially what kind of person might be able to help you with it, the easier it is to find a really good match. Because what we don't want is pairings that are sort of meh. That we can have on our own campuses by the existing mentoring schemes.
So you just mentioned pairings that are meh. What happens if you don't get on with the person you paired with? A bit of an ad hoc question. What happens if you're just butting heads a little bit and they haven't got the same maybe drive or ambition that you may need to progress? What happens? Do you just say we're going to cut ties? How do we go about that?
It varies a bit. There's always us in the background to be able to help with a little intervention. Not that we are going to adjudicate in any pairings, but if somebody really doesn't get on with their mentor or the other way around, it is probably a waste of time to continue. What we're doing in the background on the team site and with certain induction sessions, etc., is we try to equip people with tools to have a polite conversation about it, so that you don't just become a no-show to the next set meeting. You have the tools to say, look, I don't think this is working. That is to be expected. In every so many pairs, there will be a pairing where the interpersonal chemistry isn't quite right, or the timing isn't quite right for the person to hear what they need to hear. And depending on where we are in the stage, we can say we can try again for another mentor, and I think we've actually successfully done that once, or we say apply again next year if you feel you want it. But because we're there as a team and we have help from Sarah Allen and Fiona Poole from the ITSS, we're not just stepping back once the matching is made. We appreciate the flag that something isn't quite working. We check in with our mentee-mentor pairings as well to see that they're really meeting. And if there's no evidence that they're meeting, we try to find out why.
You both mentioned you put your names back in the hat, Trevor and Thea. You've both mentioned that you're going to potentially mentor again this year. I've got a question for you, Trevor. Do you offer any training? What if I want to become a mentor? Do I need any specific training, or do I just need to be a friendly face and a bit of experience? Do you offer that training on the sort of course?
You don't need specific training to be a mentor. As you say, being a friendly face and having the knowledge and the skills and be willing to pass that on to somebody else, that's the main thing. We do have resources on our Teams channel for mentors, advice on different ways to mentor, how to have the conversations, how to discuss with the mentee what exactly it is that they are looking for, um, and also being honest with them that and with us whether you can actually deliver that in the first place. Because obviously when we do the matching process, we do not get a full list of every skilling experience that every mentor has. So we have had incidences where the mentor has come back to us and said, now I've spoken to the mentee, I do not feel that I have the skills and experience to mentor this person properly, which allows us to then find another mentor for them. But let's say we have resources on our Teams channels. We have, I say, a dedicated channel for the mentors, where again, if a mentor has any questions, wants to ask any advice, certainly if it's your first time mentoring, and you a lot of our mentors have mentored before, so it does allow you to ask questions, get some advice, get some feedback about the best way to have a conversation, set up the mentoring. Also, again, it depends what type of mentoring it is, how technical it is, or whether it's just more over general career progression or management techniques. It would be a different style of mentoring depending upon what exactly the mentee needs.
Amazing. So anyone could sort of support mentoring wise, depending on what the mentee needs. Now, my next curveball, I'm going to throw you another curveball. Is this just open to university-based technicians, or can this be offered to technicians within colleges or in schools? Bit of a random one, but obviously technicians are technicians in the I suppose the world of technicians. Can this be offered? Is this being offered to colleges and schools, or just a university sort of mentoring scheme?
Unfortunately, it's limited to UK higher education or research institutions. So anyone who can be a signatory for the technician commitment, as a rule of thumb, can also apply for mentoring on the scheme. We are supported really generously by time from staff at the Institute of Technical Skills and Strategy, and they've got a funding remit that we need to stick to, unfortunately. It is a scheme that theoretically could easily be broadened out. It would probably need more manpower, but the tools that we set up are all transferable.
Amazing.
So if there were somebody who said, you know what, this would be a brilliant thing if we widened that to further education or even schools, then if they contact us, we'll give them everything that we have for them to run it.
Possibilities are endless, but at the moment we're concentrating on higher education or further education. Amazing. So I've got another one, another curveball. I'm full of curveballs. So I've got to keep you on your toes. You see, structured questions here. We've got more curveballs. What if I feel the first year I want to support mentoring, but maybe don't have the time? Could I volunteer? Could I volunteer some time to support, or just jump in some Teams calls and listen in to how things are going, just to see if I've got time maybe the year after to. Could I volunteer my time to support or not?
That's one we haven't thought about really before. It's an interesting question. I think there is a confidentiality aspect. It would very much depend on whether a mentee in that pairing would feel confident in having somebody else sit there. It's probably like when you get to your GP and they sit with somebody from a med school and go, you don't have anything against them knowing everything about you, right? It would be a sensitive conversation that would probably need some notice. It's not a bad idea though, for people who aren't sure whether being a mentor is for them or not.
Yeah, love these ideas.
Yeah, but if you're in doubt, I reckon you're already so far advanced in thinking about it that you can probably just volunteer.
Tell you what, you could
Amazing.
volunteer
Thank you so
for.
much.
We've got a workshop coming up at the specialist technical specialist network event, and that's in April 28th. So you could come on by that and give us a hand with the workshop if you want to volunteer time. There you
go. See if anyone's interested. Hopefully the episode goes out before that. I can't just get happen. Amazing. Charli, do you want to finish on the last one before I put in more curveballs?
So many curveballs, questions coming in from Mike. He's been listening and scribbling and trying to. You might get an application coming in from Mike. It sounds like.
Excellent. The more the merrier. Honestly, we need all the mentors
part of our
we
network
can get.
now, so we'll just contact you if somebody suitable comes up, and we'll just see if you're available for that.
Yeah, I'm used to my emails being filled, so just keep emailing. It might take me 2 weeks to reply, but yeah, absolutely fill them up. It's absolutely fine.
Experience, it's fine.
It's learning that's the management skill. That it's trying to learn how to manage your emails and then micromanage your own time. I'm just like, yeah.
That's what you can mentor on, Mike. Management of emails.
Management of emails. Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening, like Mike, and is interested in maybe getting involved either as a mentee or a mentor, what do they need to know, Lisa?
So I think if you're thinking about it, you're already at the stage where you should just go for it. So there's no costs involved to joining the scheme, either to you or your institution. And I think last year we had up to 38 institutions involved. So you're already getting yourself a big network. If you wanted to find a way to contact someone at a certain university, you'd be able to go on your Teams channel and you'd find somebody. And I think it's a great way to expand your network. Just complete an application form, but the caveat is you have to put as much detail as you can in, so that it can be, because that's really the point where we use it for the matching. So we really need a good, strong, detailed application form. Would be awesome for us. So the applications are open now, and they're going to be open until the 18th of May. So if you need more information, you can find our page on the ITSS website.
Fantastic. And is it open to all UK higher education institutions, or do you have to be technician commitment?
No, it's open to all
signatories?
UK higher institutions.
Oh, fantastic. That's great.
Does it cost anything to apply?
No. So all our time is we give it willingly, and then so yeah, apart from we get support from the ITSS, from Fiona Poole and Sarah Allen. So big thank you to them, who are also a big part of helping us run CIMS-T. But no, there's no cost to you as an individual being a mentor or a mentee.
Great. That's amazing. It sounds very simple. Other than make sure, if you're listening, and put as much detail as you can in your application, and you'll get the best match possible. I think that's really key, isn't it? Like the more effort you put into your application, the better your match is going to be, and the more you'll get out of it. By the sounds of it.
So, thank you.
Do a bit of a random one. Do you get a certificate of completion? Do you get anything to say you've completed the mentoring scheme?
No. But you should, shouldn't we? Because at the moment we all have badges, because I made us all badges for a conference we went to last year. So we all have CIMS-T badges, and like Trevor had little bits of conical flasks with bubbles on them because he's chemistry, and I had like a DNA spiral because I'm life sciences. But yeah, should we produce certificates? That's a great idea. You've completed 1 year, and should we have like gold stars for if you complete several years to encourage people to like participate in several cohorts? This is an excellent idea.
Maybe from moving from mentee to mentor, you've got a new.
Yes, we should. The answer is yes. And if you could send me over your design, that'd be brilliant. Thank you so much for volunteering to do that.
It for you. Don't worry, I'll make one. AI will make one for me. It's
Yes,
fine.
I like this. I like this reward system. Yes. CIMS-T reward.
I know. Encourage
Yes, it
encourage
is.
Unfortunately,
loyalty.
in
Yes,
actual
it's-
fact, there isn't a certificate or anything.
Sounds
But
like there
as
might
Lisa
be
says,
like soon.
it it would be nice to have, something to show that people have done it.
Even to
We'll be
avoid
thinking
print
about
costs,
that.
something they could put in their email signature or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What would you say?
I'm a T-level ambassador for T-level students, and you get a little badge you can put in your email signature. So maybe you get a SMT sort of I'm a mentor or a mentee logo for your signatures. I just want to thank all three of our fantastic guests for their information and answering my wild curveball questions within this interview today and this conversation today. I think it was really informative. And if they wanted more information, then we'll link down below in the description of the video the website to where you can get more information.
It's really nice to speak to you all, and what a great scheme that you've put together. It's really, really great. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for listening to the Technician Commitment podcast. To learn more about the Technician Commitment, or if you're interested in joining, please visit the Technician Commitment website, which we will link in the description of this podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the Technician Commitment podcast wherever you get your podcasts.